Hi, this is the Introduction to Locative Media video. As usual, this is just going to be a brief thing. We're going to take a look at something really quick that I've posted to, and I'm going to say a little bit about how you might be able to, or how you can approach the um, three or four very different kinds of works that are listed for today under locative media. So I want to open with a little bit about locative media in general, and then we'll go take a look at an example, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Maps are power, and those who draw them provide access to the world. That is Dr. Jonah Brucker-Cohen, and he's director of the Digital Humanities Master's Program, and he's assistant professor of digital media and networked culture in the Department of Journalism, Communication, and Theater at Lehman College, which is one of the CUNY universities. Brucker-Cohen points us to a central concern of what scholars, artists, and designers call locative media. Locative media, or location-based media, include a wide variety of texts, applications, art installations, media pieces, performance works that key their operations to specific locations, specific mappable locations. In popular gaming culture, you might think of something like Pokemon Go as locative media. That is, you can only access the full functionality of that game by moving in and around and through particular locations. As Brucker-Cohen's statement about maps and power suggests, the dynamic of digital media and location is actually pretty complicated. So to help give us a framework for thinking about the variety of works that fall under what we might call locative media, as well as the way those works engage with questions of culture and power, I want to quote two different scholars. So Mark Tudors and Kazis Vernelis argue that, quote, locative media projects can be categorized under one of two types of mapping, either annotative, that is, virtually tagging the world, or what they call phenomenological, that is, tracing the action of the subject in the world. So, when engaging with the different works that we have listed for today, I want you to keep in mind this idea that some locative media are annotative projects, that is, they annotate places in the world, and some are tracing projects, that is, they follow people as they move around in the world. So see if you can differentiate in the works we're looking at today, and see if you can decide what kind of locative media projects those are and what kind of locative media project our activity is for today. All three scholars that I've mentioned suggest to us that locative media can be understood to be works, any kind of works, a variety of works, that respond to and critique dominant narratives about a space or place. So instead, what locative media projects tend to provide are narratives that are more personal or more critical, or that represent marginalized voices. So from our readings today, for example, so if we go to the schedule and go to the locative media readings and we go to Clio, let me open that up. If you go there and if you type in the zip code for campus, 95929, and you go to Bidwell Mansion State Historic Park. It's right next to campus. If you've never been there, you should go check it out, go look. There's a picture of it. You can kind of look around, wander around it virtually, but you should go there in person. And what you can do is go and you can read the annotation for just a brief mention of what this place is. So it describes it and gives some history about it. So once you read that, so make note of what it talks about, who it notes, how it talks about like the early founding of Chico. Then go and take a look at Professor Jesse Dizzard's project on the Nome Cult Trail. Professor Dizzard is a professor here at Chico State, and he created this project about an event that happened that started in Chico that involves Northern California. And go and look through this project and note the difference in narrative provided about the early days of Chico, between the Clio historical entry for Bidwell Mansion, that's a state historic park, and this project on the Nome Cult Trail. So your activity today will ask you to create a locative media project in which you think about and work with this kind of tension between official narrative about a place and other personal or marginalized narratives about a place. Not as at the scale of Desert or Clio, sort of a much smaller scale, but I want you to keep in mind these ideas that we've been talking about in terms of, right, this is location based, we're thinking about annotating places or tracing people's movements through spaces, and the ways in which doing that helps us think about the tensions between dominant or personal or critical or marginalized narratives about a place. Okay? Enjoy.